Happy Monday, February 20th, start to the new week. Holiday for a lot of people in the United States. I think it's President's Day. Is that the correct holiday, Doug? I guess you can't really, you're on.
It is. Yep.
You're on Restream, but not Instagram. So I guess you can't talk yet for some reason.
Yes.
Right,
yeah, it's President's Day.
At which point he will respond to my question, I think.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. It is President's Day. You are correct.
Oh, good. Okay. And what does that celebrate? That celebrates the birthdays of several presidents in a row in one day, like when Michael Scott combines the office birthdays?
I believe it's Washington's birthday, but it's a birthday that we celebrate democracy, maybe a day that we celebrate presidents and democracy. And I don't actually know, but I do believe it's Washington's birthday.
Okay. I kind of thought it was a combination of like Washington, Lincoln, and just like, let's celebrate all the birthdays on one day so we don't have to have too many holidays like in the office when they do that.
It might be that too.
Cool. Okay. Well, good. Well, off day then for most people, not us. We're here hard at work. You had a bout of illness last week. You're all better now, right?
I did, and I appreciate everyone's patience as I missed out on 2 episodes last week. Yeah, I thought I was in the clear on Wednesday's episode. We were celebrating the fact that I had survived the epic stomach bug of 2023 in my household. It wiped out everyone else except for me. Everyone had gotten better, and I thought we were in the clear. And then, sure enough, I was sitting at my desk around 4 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon and ran outside and had an emergency. Wow. And it just wiped me out, man. It came in fast, came in strong. But for me, it was mostly like a really terrible night on Wednesday night, and then a long day of recovering from not sleeping, not eating, and kind of being totally dehydrated on Thursday. And then by Friday, I was feeling quite a bit better. And...
lost you, Doug. Lost your voice on Instagram.
Uh-oh. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Very garbled.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if
that's the only sound I can get.
I get a spinning wheel for you. I'm not sure.
No. Okay. So I'm
curious if any of our Instagram listeners can let us know if it seems like a Doug issue or a Matt issue.
All right. So hold on. So if you're on Restream, you can hear Doug fine. If you're on Instagram, you can't. The problem is I can't hear Doug on Restream because if I do that, the volume will bleed into my microphone, and then we will have no podcast. So we're kind of stuck. Doug, if you can leave and come back into Instagram, that would probably be the best move at first try.
Okay. I will do that.
Sorry for the delay, everyone. Kate says that we do sound fine on YouTube, and that is... Whoops. Okay. Doug has left Instagram. I think he's coming back. We'll try to get this thing back on the road. We've had some technical difficulties the past week, and I apologize for that. I hate that. Okay. Trying again with Instagram, and let's see if we are successful. No, not at all. Okay, so then I'm going to get some headphones, and then I will, I'll come back. 1 second.
Hey.
Oh, here. Okay, I'm back on YouTube.
You're now listening to me on YouTube?
Yes, I can hear your music, hear your YouTube.
Okay.
Instagram, I don't know. It's just still a frozen, garbly thing. So I don't know. We could just keep doing it there, but not sure how it will go. I don't have a microphone plugged in there now, so who knows? That's not going to be a good experience. But you know what? That's why we've been saying go over to YouTube. So this is even better reason. I'm hearing some echo.
Yes. Sorry about that. I was changed some things up.
Anyway, go over to youtube.com/NoMeatAthlete. You click on the live tab and you will be able to see us better and hear us without any issues. That really almost never has issues. So that's kind of your best move you can do if you're into the show and you want to kind of go with the flow and do what everyone else is doing. So jump over there.
Yeah. So I'll just finish my
No,
story. You can kind of chop this up for the podcast.
I'm not hearing anything.
Can't you hear me? Oh no, this is trash. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear it now. I know what happened. Okay. I'm not going to go into it. Just go ahead.
Okay. I will just to finish my story, and you can chop it up for the actual podcast here. But by the end of Friday, I was feeling quite a bit better, and I even got out for some exercising, some long runs this weekend. So I'm feeling good. I'm just so stoked to be back and back into the swing of things here. Yeah. How are you? How was your weekend, Matt?
It was very good. It was. We had a whole lot of soccer games, about 9, with the potential for more if the kids had made it further into the playoffs.
9 soccer
so
games.
My dad came and helped out. Erin was on a girls' weekend, so nice that she got to do that. And it was just a typical weekend where we run around to soccer games. Can't really figure out much in the way of good cooking. Just sort of, I don't know, had Chinese food once. It was one of those weekends. But it was fine. It was still good. Not complaining. I enjoyed it. Nice to see my dad. And that was that. So I was kind of feeling the sound while you were talking. I didn't really hear anything you said. I mean, I heard it, but I didn't process it. About running or something. I don't know. Did you you didn't do your Atlanta trip? Is that right?
No, we canceled the Atlanta trip, unfortunately, or postponed it, I guess, for a few weeks from now. But so it was just kind of a home weekend for us. Everyone kind of getting back into the swing of things. And I did get out for some runs and some activities and things like that. But no big epic trips to Slutty Vegan or vegan wangs or anything like that.
Yeah, too bad. That's okay. Maybe next time, or maybe when you do Atlanta, you can do those things. All right, so we put out the question of the day here, which is, what is the best thing you ate this weekend? Since we didn't really do a whole lot of interesting food stuff, I really didn't. I can't think of anything that I did that was like at all worth mentioning, other than we had Chinese food. That was it.
So what do you get at the Chinese? What do you get for Chinese food?
Usually, I mean, almost every Chinese food place I go to, they have like a decent vegetarian menu or vegetarian section where it's like broccoli with garlic, mixed vegetables with whatever, and then there's usually 2 or 3 tofu items, and we'll pick one of them. So I don't know, home style tofu, or I don't know. We don't do the General Tso stuff. We don't like that, too sweet. That, and then we always every Chinese restaurant has like a steam section or a healthy diet section, and you go to that section and you can just get good old plain steamed vegetables, and they're very good. So we always sort of try to get like half regular normal Chinese dishes and then half that. So we just sort of fill up all the plates with lots of steamed vegetables that have literally nothing on them, except they do give you a little dipping sauce kind of stuff for them, which we don't really use that much. So that's kind of way makes Chinese food not feel like too big of an indulgence. Yeah,
I can't eat a lot of Chinese food.
No,
I think maybe once in the last years.
Yeah, it's a nice little when you haven't done any cooking and you don't want to spend like $80 to order takeout, which is what happens if you go to a regular restaurant for 4 people. That's what you're getting, especially if you get it delivered. So it usually comes to maybe $40 instead. So I like it as a budget food when you don't want to cook.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Neil says that his best thing was a Philly cheesesteaker from Veburger, local vegan burger place.
Very nice. And Jill says mushroom coq au vin, I think is the French name. I don't know how to quite pronounce that. Over pureed parsnips. That is a very fancy food, much fancier than anything I have had in quite a while, actually. So way to go. I don't know what that means. I know what au vin means. I think that means like in this with wine, or in the cooked with wine, cooked in the style with wine. But I don't know what coq means. C-O-Q. Who knows? Jill can inform us.
In the complete opposite spectrum of that, we did have a redo of the pizza bites, because I had cooked them for myself at the Super Bowl because everyone else was sick. actually, my oldest daughter tried them as well, but my wife didn't, and my youngest didn't because they were both sick. So I barely used any of the package because I wasn't going to cook a whole package just for myself. So we made the rest of it over the weekend, and it was pretty good. Not gonna lie, pretty good.
Yeah,
yeah.
good.
Everybody liked it.
All right, glad to hear it. All right, and then I've got to check in, Doug, on the pull-ups thing. You were sick for 2 days. I sort of, in my little half of a show, or less than that, 10 minutes of a show on Thursday, said I hope Doug could find a way to just get the pull-ups in, just like 1 or 2 pull-ups each day he was sick to not lose the streak. Seems like even if you're not feeling well, you could manage that. First of all, did you manage that? And second of all, how is it going in general? Are we closing in on 5 reps yet?
Yeah.
Chin-ups. We call these chin-ups. They're chin-ups.
I'm glad you asked. It was a definite step back. I'm not gonna lie. Thursday, I hardly left the bed. And so I did no pull-ups on Thursday. Friday, I did come out. I did maybe like 2 or 3. And but that was all I could do. I came out this weekend, did some this weekend, and this morning I did a full-on kind of workout thing with them. So I would say I'm stalling out right now the last like week and a half at around feeling like I can do 3 pretty comfortably. So not there yet, but this is a chance for me to kind of restart the process a little bit, I think.
Okay, good. As long as you stay on track. The important thing, I'm telling you, is that 2 months from now, you can look back and say, I did that every single day. That's why I'm so good at these now.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters. A day off here and there, it's not going to make a difference. It just matters as long as it doesn't break the habit. That's the point. So good for you.
No, the habit is definitely not broken.
Good. Keep at it. Glad to hear it. My fitness update is I'm shifting. I've been doing with this squat rack thing and barbell that I got. With the bumper plates, I've been doing, I've been doing something every single day that has continued throughout February so far. So I'm about 20 plus 30 plus 5. So I'm 55 or some days into doing fitness every day. I'd say about 50 of those have been weight trainings and 5 have been runs. So that's going great. I really like the everyday fitness habit, which I've never tried to do before other than run streak. So that's going quite well. I've been doing just like the type of workout that you can do day after day. So nothing ever too heavy, like 70%, 80% of 1 rep max would be like the biggest weights that I would get into. Typically doing them for a couple sets of 5 and then that's it. And not every day, just change around, do different muscle groups some days. But today I'm getting ready to like actually start a program. I mean, I need to calculate all the 1 rep maxes and go test them using this little like scheme for kind of, you first make estimates and then you sort of build up to your estimate and then you test. So it's all based on exact numbers. So you figure out 1 rep max. Then once you've got those, you go, start the actual program. So that's what I'm doing this week is figuring out 1 rep maxes. And soon I will be in the throes of an actual program. So I'll have lots to talk about that.
What's the program?
It is one by this guy I like so much, Pavel, and his some other guy named Fabio. I don't know the last. Well, I don't know Fabio's last name, but it's like, so Pavel's thing is always, he's all about the kettlebells. That's his main thing that kind of made him famous. But he's also just very knowledgeable about strength training. So this is their barbell program that kind of uses the philosophy. But the whole thing is about measured by your 1 rep max, and you figure out what it is, and then you set off on an 8-week program with like very kind of fixed increments throughout the 8 weeks, and then the point will be at the end of that 8 weeks, you've got this improvement in said 1 rep max for each of the big lifts. So we'll see how it goes. It's been a long time since I've done any kind of serious barbell training, so I'm quite excited about that.
Matt, we were talking the other day about how you haven't ever done any like before and after pictures. This is it. This is the time to do it.
Maybe it's not so much a physique. It's more just a strength gaining thing. It's not like this stuff isn't built for like put on bulky muscles. It might have that side effect. I don't really know. But it's more about increasing strength. So we'll see. I don't think I'm gonna do that, actually.
All right. Fair enough.
All right. So Jill says, "Where's Mr. Jeffrey? Hope he didn't get the epic stomach bug of 2023." Yeah, that'd be no good if he got it somehow by osmosis or something through listening to Doug. Do they have a Prime Minister's Day in Canada today? Is that what's going on?
I don't know. I don't know. Mr. Jeffrey, we need you.
I see no mention of any sort of Canadian public holiday today. So no, I don't think it's that. Anyway,
Steven says that him and Mr. Jeffrey were going to hold an impromptu live hangout on Friday, but he didn't see my message in time.
Man, that would be great. I would definitely come to that. I'd love to see how that goes. All right, good. Well, then let's get to some content here. We've only. I'm just going to say the big news is the Miyoko story, of course, which came. I think it might have been Thursday, could have been Friday. That story broke. That Miyoko is out as CEO at Miyokos Creamery, the company she founded. So we were going to report on that a little bit late, of course, but just bringing you up to speed. But then I just saw late breaking news that we'll get into right after the weather report of another development in the Miyoko story. So we'll get to that in just a second. But first, of course, we've got our weather report for this Monday, February 20th. Here we go. All right, so here we go. This is from Doug's mom. Days after reports surfaced of an Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, the catalytic converter was stolen. PETA has offered to pay for the replacement part for that Wienermobile if they will make the Wienermobile basically into a vegan promotion propaganda machine. That's like a vegan hot dog thing. Which, of course, they're not going to do that. I thought this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Is this really what PETA thinks is going to move the needle? Like this kind of dumb offer to replace a catalytic converter, which costs a couple $100. I mean, a couple $1,000 maybe. Like, I just don't understand what the big deal is. But then I realized they did it. I read more closely, and they did it because Kraft Heinz, who owns Oscar Mayer, has been working apparently on a vegan hot dog. So that part of the story made a little bit more sense. So now they were thinking maybe there's a chance they actually would view this as a promotional opportunity for that vegan hot dog, and PETA wanted to get in on it. So in that way, I guess they've drummed up some interest in the idea that maybe vegan hot dogs are coming from Oscar Mayer. So anyway, not quite as dumb as I thought it was.
I had a weird obsession with the Oscar or with the Wienermobile when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. I have lost Doug's voice and picture. Wonder if this is on my end or Doug's end. I really don't like these tech issues. Doug, I have entirely lost you on YouTube. All right, here we go. I'm going to put on this headphone. Doug, what's the status
hear me or see me now?
Now I can. Yes, kind of blurry, but I can see you. I mean, hear you.
Okay.
So what?
Am I back on YouTube?
You said you had an obsession with the Wienermobile. What was that about?
Am I back on YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I had this weird obsession as a kid with the Wienermobile, and had like all these toys of the Wienermobile. One of which my mom found when she saw the story. She thought it was funny, so she found it, and I pulled it out to bring today, and I forgot. So it's in the house. But I don't know. I think it would be absolutely hilarious if somehow they pulled this off and converted the Wienermobile to a vegan wiener.
Yeah. Is there only one actual Wienermobile? Is there not more than that? I mean, I figured that'd be like a no-brainer. Like if you're going to roll out the vegan hot dogs, of course you make a couple.
Yeah, I don't know. Good question.
Vegan ones. It's funny that when you said you had this weird obsession with the Wienermobile, my first thought was that's really weird, and then I remembered me having the same thing. Not an obsession by any means, but it was much more than just like this commercial promotion thing. There was definitely toys or contests or something, or maybe they were giving away in cereal boxes. Like I remember wanting to get the Wienermobile toy in some form or another, and I don't have any more clarity than that. But it was definitely not just a truck. Kids were interested in it for some reason.
Yeah, it was a thing, I think.
All right, so that's that little bit of news. On more serious note, perhaps McDonald's and in Germany has announced a partnership with Beyond Meat for the first ever plant-based McNuggets following a successful test. Those are set to roll out February 2nd, which is Wednesday, across the 1,400 of the McDonald's restaurants in Germany. McPlant is already there. I went and had it firsthand, and I thought it was pretty good. That's the burger. But the nuggets would have been good. They're behind. Burger King's definitely ahead with the vegan chicken over there. But good that McDonald's is moving forward with this stuff. Kellogg's, who we I think last week said that they had decided to abort their plans to cut their plant-based line, which they had been planning to sort of spin that off and sell it, I think. They've now seemingly doubled down. Morningstar Farms has partnered with Pringles. This is a match made in heaven, Doug, for you. I don't know if you're a Pringles guy or not, but it could be. They're making now chicken fries, which are vegan snack, frozen. You put it in the microwave or air fryer, and you get these crispy chicken, basically chicken tenders that are vegan, of course. I don't really understand why there are Pringles, like what that has to do with it.
Yeah, what's that connection?
I don't know. There's the Pringles original flavor, and there's the
Pringles.
That's kind of the only thing I could think of. And there's also the Pringles scorching cheddar cheese flavor, which is dairy-free cheddar, of course. Not of course, because Morningstar definitely sells some stuff with dairy in it, but it seems that is dairy-free. They'll hit stores in March. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the Pringles connection is. You have to imagine it's in the breading somehow, that they would crumble those Pringles up. Doesn't sound very good to me. I'm just a nice vegan chicken tender would be good. I don't really need chips to be the coating. Just breading's fine with me.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Really? I thought for sure you. Okay. I thought for you the more.
I mean, I would try these.
Yeah,
I would try these, but I would be more drawn to just a clean, or not a clean, forward, delicious plant-based chicken nugget.
Right. The problem is there are dozens of things that are claiming to be that in the frozen section. So I guess now they've got to resort to doing this in order to sell any of it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
So yeah, but it'd be nice to know just what is the very best one and just get that. I'd be okay with that too. And finally, in more good, serious, important news, that there's now a new study that shows that following a healthy plant-based diet after a diagnosis of prostate cancer may help prevent the disease from progressing or recurring. In this study, they looked at 2,000 men with prostate cancer over a median of 7 years, and those who ate a diet rich in fruit, vegetables, and whole grains had a 52% lower risk of cancer progressing and 53% lower risk of recurrence compared to those who had the lowest amounts of plants in their diet. And the Vivian Liu, the lead researcher at Osher Center for Integrative Health at the University of California, where they did this study, she theorizes or suggests that it may have to do with the antioxidants in plants, the anti-inflammatory properties, compounds of plants, dietary fiber, and the fact that dairy, if you have more plants, you probably have less animal products, and dairy linked to insulin-like growth factor 1 production, which is known as a cancer, certainly associated with cancer. So, yeah, I mean, I think these mechanisms have been sort of batted around for years as why the plant-based diet helps prevent cancer compared especially to a high dairy diet. I don't think there's any real proof here that these mechanisms are what's doing it. It's just her theory. But at least we're seeing this correlation, not necessarily causation yet, but correlation between plant-based diet and better prostate cancer outcomes. Nothing funny there, Doug, to chime in?
Great news.
Okay, good. All right. On to the big story.
I don't think so.
On to the big one. I mentioned it earlier. First I'll give you the part we all know, and then I'll give you the new part. What's up, Doug? What are you laughing at? Doug, are we delayed or something?
I don't know. I was laughing because you were laughing. Maybe we would get a prostate joke or something. I don't know.
Oh no, I don't have any of those. I've got none. I mean, I tried briefly in my head. I went to thought about, prostate exams and all that. No one. Just stay away from that. We're not going down that road. All right. So
must be delayed.
Yeah, I think we're very delayed. So apologize everyone for the delays today. I'm not sure what we can do about it, but for tomorrow we will reset our internets and hopefully get back on track. All right, so I'm just going to continue read this much or talk about this bit, and then Doug, you can join in. Hopefully we'll get caught up. You could try refreshing your YouTube thing if that helps. It could be on my end for all I know. I just don't know. But the news is that Miyoko was removed from her own company. This is Plant-Based News' headline. Miyoko Shinner removed from her own company amid ongoing, quote, conflict. And that's the news. I think people know this in the space by now, but maybe not. But what happened is that Miyoko founded this company She's been the CEO, I think, since the beginning. Launched in 2014, which is actually the exact year that I went to Italy with Miyoko. We were co-hosts of a vegan trip there, and it was awesome. And she and her family were there, so we got to know them. But I didn't realize that was the year she officially launched the business. I guess it kind of makes sense, though, thinking about things. But anyway, she has been the CEO there. But the board, I guess it's the board who has all the voting rights, or the majority of the voting rights, and that's what would allow them to do this. They can vote on who are the executives in a company. Once in total their shares are more than 50% of the voting rights, they can control that. And so that happens a lot in companies, that the founder would eventually have their shares reduced as they take on investment and things. So they voted that Miyoko is no longer the CEO. Apparently, this has been happening. This has been the case since June. It just only now became officially news. So, Doug, are you hearing me? And is this working?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Good. Yes, sounds good.
Yeah. This was big news. It honestly came as a pretty huge surprise to me. I mean, to everybody, I'm sure, but I just was very surprised by this one when I read it on Friday. In part because, I mean, Miyokos Creamery is Miyoko, right? I mean, her name is on it, of course, but then she her face. I was looking at. We have some Miyoko's butter right now. Her face is on the back with her, I think, with a call and the story of building an ethical plant-based butter and cheese business. And I mean, she is Miyokos Creamery in my opinion. And so it was quite a shock to think of her departing, especially not on her own terms. It sounds like kind of getting voted out. It came as quite a shock to me, and I think to most people. I was perusing the comment section of some of Miyoko's Creamery's recent Instagram posts, and they're just getting torn up in the comments. Like, people are definitely seem to be on Team Miyoko, but I don't know how you feel about all this. I think it's hard to make a judgment call when we know so little about their agreements and her contract and all of her partners and investors and how they came on and all that stuff and what was actually going on behind the scenes. It's hard to completely place blame on the company or Miyoko or anyone else. I mean, clearly there was something going on that we're not privy to at this moment.
Yeah, I guess yes, it's big news. Surprising because it's Miyoko's, but I don't think it's anyone's to blame or anything. It's just it's what the process is, right? You give up voting rights, and then if the board thinks you're not doing an adequate job or the one that maximizes value for the shareholders, then they would vote someone else to be the CEO. They would hire someone else, and it's not an ethical thing. It's just what they did because they think someone else would be better at this phase of the company. So I don't have any problem with that. I thought this is, kind of normal thing. You would hope they would find a way to keep her on board as the face of the company, let her still be this face on the box and be this this founder figurehead sort of person who goes out and does what she does, because that's what I think she does so well. I don't really know about her business abilities at all. It's quite possible that she's great at it, and that's, I think, her argument. But what I see her doing is the visible stuff out in the public, where she's having lawsuits against leading these things, getting the vegan tattoo on her, and she's saying they stand for veganism, not plant-based. I think that's the value that she has most recently brought to the company. And I think it seems like she could keep doing that if the relationship were good. But apparently it's not now, given.
No, I mean, she put out a statement on LinkedIn that kind of. Hold off on the breaking news here for just a minute.
She not the breaking news.
She put out a statement on LinkedIn that was, it was kind of, harsh. It was very clear that it was not on her terms at all for her to leave, and that she didn't want to. And she was kind of implying, and I'm summarizing here for sure, but she was implying that that the company and the board wanted to move away from some of the values that, the ethical values. Mm-hmm. That she had established with the company, and that's a clear difference in vision and opinion. And I guess there was some comment about how she took it from 0 to 1, and
Right.
and she took great offense to that, and I would too. It's valued at $260 million or something. I mean, it's a massive company. Maybe I was trying to think of, can you think of any larger like vegan company where like vegan is a big part of the philosophy, where it's built by a vegan, the whole ethical side of it. I mean, obviously there's larger companies that sell plant-based foods and things like that, but where like, where there is part of the real mission.
Right.
I can't really think of any. And, and so if they are in fact trying to move away from that, kind of go a little bit, maybe more mainstream, join in on the Beyond Meats and all that kind of stuff, I would imagine that would be causing a lot of conflict. And it's just, it's never, like you said, founders leave their companies all the time. That's,
and by the way, we should clarify, she surely still owns whatever her large amount of shares in the company is, right? It's not like, it's not like someone can just vote that now she has no ownership in the company anymore. Like, she still owns it. So, it's, I guess to me, that makes it less a big deal than maybe people think it is. Like, how could someone be ousted from their own company? It's not like they just took it away from her. She's still an owner of the company, and she still gets to vote on who the leader will be. It just, she doesn't have enough shares that she could outvote everybody else and make herself leader.
Right. That's right. But it's never fun to see a founder, especially like of someone who is literally the face of the company and the name of the company, kind of be dragged through the mud a little bit. But yeah, like you said, especially when it gets to a point that they're that big.
Yeah, and so I read her the 0 to 1 thing. I didn't see where they said 0 to 1. I only saw her response, and she cited it there. That I don't have it right in front of me, but that they said, she was responsible for getting it from 0 to 1, and that didn't make her the best person to get it from whatever they said, 1 to 100 or something.
Yeah.
0 to 1 sounds insulting in some way, but I don't think it typically is. Like, there's a book by, I think, Peter Thiel, big entrepreneur, called 0 to 1, because that's like a really hard phase of a company. And like, I remember Miyoko in 2010 through 14, or maybe even before that, she was like pioneering artisan vegan cheese making. And she had some books, like not self-published, but like on a very, very small publisher, with like super niche, like vegan cheese recipes, right? Like, so to me, like I said, I don't know anything about her business skills. She obviously has a lot of them if she got the company to be this big.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
But when I think 0 to 1, I'm thinking someone who does what she did in those early days, right? And like got this thing off the ground, which is a huge achievement. And then I think generally that's not the person who is the best to handle $1 billion company and move it out to be 10 or 100 billion or whatever. It doesn't mean that she isn't. Like I said, I don't know anything about the situation, and maybe she is an unlikely person who has those, artist skills to get something started, and also these like very, very whatever you'd call it, corporate management skills or corporate leadership skills. So I really don't know at all.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is, like, it's a pretty, I think, typical thing. You have someone who's very involved with nuts and bolts and the niche stuff, and they get this thing, and she got this very, very far. And then you eventually hire someone else to come in who's an expert in this next stage. But obviously she doesn't see it that way. And like you said, there's this thing about the ethical thing, the vegan thing. That's a huge part of this. I'm sure that I'm totally guessing that the board members, who probably she had hired as people who weren't necessarily vegan, didn't necessarily share the vegan vision, but the people who she needed who could help her scale it in the way that I'm talking about, who I think they're imagining now the new CEO will do. She probably hired a bunch of people like that, and they don't share that vegan vision, right? Like they're looking at money and shareholders, and to them, the vegan thing's only useful if it helps to sell more of the cheese compared to being plant-based or whatever, more mainstream friendly term they might choose. I'm just speculating. I don't know anything about those board members or their backgrounds or their values or anything, but I think that's, that would be a fairly typical context, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You just want to, I completely agree. I think the person who starts the company is oftentimes not the person to take it to next phase. And that's not a knock on the person at all. That's just, people have different skills. But you just don't want to see it go down like this, right? I mean, you don't
No,
want to
of
see
course not.
someone who is an icon in the movement, who is beloved by everyone, and has done something so amazing as building this company and getting plant-based butters and plant grocery store in the United States. It's awesome
Yeah.
what she has accomplished, and you just never want to see it go down like this, where it's not a thing, or it's not something that that goes for vision of where the company should go. There's some comments here. Jill says the question is if vegans will continue to support the brand, or given the news. And I mean, that's kind of what I'm seeing, is like it seems like people are taking the sides of Miyoko. I mean, I'm sure that this, like everything, will blow over, and there'll be plenty of vegans who never even hear about it or don't care.
Yeah, and keep in mind, all
but
those people, like Miyoko doesn't want that to happen. She doesn't want this brand to now fail, because her entire net worth goes away if it does, right? And it doesn't go away, but like she still owns the company. So you don't. That's not the way to help Miyoko out, by boycotting the company now, right? It's bad.
yeah, it's a good point. It's a really good point. Yeah.
I mean, I assume she still owns, but who knows? All right, so here's the new development that I just saw as I was signing on to start the live. I saw this one on Instagram from Green Queen, who brings us some good news now and then. I didn't quite nail that breaking news sound effect. I had the volume down, so let me try again. Uh-oh, got the wrong thing. Okay, so here it is: Miyokos Creamery lawsuit, case filed by plant-based dairy company against founder. This was just updated today. Fresh, hot breaking news. Miyokos Creamery has filed a case against Miyoko Shinner, alleging breach of contract and company IP misappropriation. I have not really read the article. I just skimmed it as we were starting the show. But it sounds like, let's see, there was, I guess they asked her to return confidential items, which included R&D materials such as proprietary recipes and plant-based culture configurations. That would be the cultures that are used in the cheeses. And saw just some little bit. I guess according to the filings, she allegedly stole company IP, that's intellectual property, and hatched a plot to steal the company's property, trade secrets, and confidential information so she could create a competing company. So that's making me think maybe she doesn't still own as much as I thought. Maybe part of the deal or somehow involved her selling back a lot of her shares when she was replaced back in June, which is only coming out now. I have no idea, but very interesting that's the allegation. She, of course, says she's shocked that they would make such allegations. Are you seeing anything else here, Doug? She says there are wild untruths about me that are designed to destroy me and get me out of the way. I've been cooperative with the company since my termination. While I'm eager to bring the truth to light, I'm going to move with the care necessary to ensure that I'm operating in accordance with my fiduciary duties as a director and with applicable legal rules and guidelines. So there you go. Not much else out yet, but that is not that's not quite a good situation like one would hope this could end with.
Yeah, no, it just adds to the mess, right? And adds to the division, which is not any, I mean, like I said, it's just, you just don't want to see that with such a beloved company in person. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I hate it. It's too bad. And I guess we'll just have to kind of wait and see how this plays out. But it certainly seems like it's not going to get better anytime
yeah,
soon.
right. And so then you wonder, you said, Doug, that we can't think of a bigger vegan company. And I think that's right. I can't think of one that really embraces the term like that, like they do. But like, isn't this the final destination or the destiny of any vegan company gets successful, right? Like I think as soon as they get this big and this successful, this happens because it becomes more about the opportunity to make tons and tons of money instead of spread the movement.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how business works, for better or for worse. So yeah, I mean, I think this is just what happens. That
right.
I
mean, I guess, I mean, I don't, I'm just totally speculating here, of course, but maybe maybe Miyoko would rather remain a $250 million company instead of $1 billion company if it could hold its ethics. And someone that she was working toward converting animal farms to plant farms and things like that, and to be able to kind of continue along those lines. And then that's where the conflict comes with your investors and your board who the same ethics, but you've brought in as investors who are looking much more at profits. They want to just grow to increase the profits, and maybe while still being true to the company, but maybe not following the same sort of ethics or decision making that someone like Miyoko might have. So I mean that's the problem with investors, right? I mean that's the problem with kind of losing some ownership of your company is you have to report to some other people. But I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. So Love My Theater Life, that's the one who said on YouTube that she was working toward helping the farmers transition from animal to plant. Is that going to survive the transition? And I think like the sad answer, I think in general, I don't know about the specific case, is no. Like that typically would probably that would take a backseat, like you said, except to the extent that like it's good for the brand and it's good for the way the brand looks, right? They would still do some amount of that and still be seen as doing that. But yeah, I think that's exactly the issue here, is that it will become about more money and less about spreading the vegan movement or vegan ideals. And then Love My Theater Life also said, are they exchanging vision for profit, values for value? And I think that's, like I said, I think that's sort of the typical thing that happens as it becomes more about money and less about the other things. I can't say whether it's right or wrong. It's just sort of how capitalism works.
What's interesting is usually that happens like when a company that size maybe gets bought by Kraft, right? Kraft or some big mega company will come and swoop in these kind of smaller but successful companies, and then they kind of lose character because they get swept in. It's just part of a portfolio of brands. But that doesn't seem to be the case, at least not yet. Maybe they're working towards that. Who knows? But
right.
It doesn't seem to be the case here.
Right. And I will point out one more thing in defense of capitalism, which I know people have problems with that too, which understandably, I get it. When they talk about making more money here with these products, they are talking about selling these products to a broader audience outside the vegan movement, right? People who really don't care that much about the farm work being done or whatever, but might be open to trying a plant-based cheese if it was branded to them properly and sold to them properly at the right price. And so like we do get something that we want here, which is more mainstream people adopting a plant-based diet or adopting plant-based foods into their diet. That's usually a good thing. We want that. So, like that sort of comes with some of these announcements. That's what happens. So I don't know whether it's good or bad, but it's sort of, it comes with, it's not like extra money is just a bad thing, right? It's like that comes from spreading it to a mainstream audience. And we do want that.
Well, I mean, I don't think that anyone has a problem with Miyoko's growing, right, and making extra money. I think that, and just like people cheer on Beyond Meat, and if it happened to get purchased by, or if who cares? Who cares what the CEO, if the founders are involved in it at all? Like no one has that. I think the problem is that like Miyokos has established itself as an ethical company. Mm-hmm. Right. I mean, it is very clear on the packaging why they have the mission that they are, and it's not about providing a really healthy or some alternative to butter. It's like for the ethics of animal rights.
Right.
And so I think that's like people are drawn to that, and then her and her story and her face, and this kind of very personal company that is Miyokos, which is very different, I think, than something like Beyond Meat or something growing and selling. So I think that's part of it. But I completely understand what you're saying, is like if they can take this company from $250 million to a $3 billion company, that means that that way more people are eating it, and it's probably replacing some sort of animal products, and that's a great thing. That's something we should celebrate, of course. But I think that the like, that kick to the gut, or the why people are so impacted by this is not because they want to make more money. It's the personal side of it with Miyoko.
Yeah, makes sense. Aisha points out it's a shame because Miyokos is the main whole food based cheese I've seen. I don't like the tangy, but I really appreciated the whole food ingredients. That's actually a great point. Miyokos, for all its success, as like you said, the biggest one. I don't know if companies like Daya or Daya, if that actually sells more, because that's definitely like more available in kind of mainstream grocery stores than Miyoko. At least it has been. Maybe that's changing a little bit recently. So I don't know if they are a larger company. I also don't know if they call themselves a vegan company. They probably don't. They probably just say it's plant-based cheese. But those companies have all, and even a lot of the smaller ones, like it's that fake food kind of vegan cheese. Miyoko's, which is kind of remarkable considering the size it has reached, did so with ingredients that are like really whole foods. Like it's not that different from recipes Miyoko was using in her books in 2010 or whatever. So that's kind of remarkable. And you do have to wonder that if she's out and some of this vegan ethics goes out, which we don't know if it will or not, but if we assume that it does, you have to imagine this commitment to whole food ingredients is also going to be relaxed a little bit. That they will, start cheapening it just a bit and try to maintain the quality, but cheapen the cost of production to get to a larger audience again. So that would kind of be a shame for sure. So we will see what happens there. Who knows? It sounds like it's kind of beyond repair. I don't think there's too much hope of them fixing this, and Miyoko just sort of stays a face of the company, even if not the CEO. Doesn't sound like that's going to happen, which is a shame.
What'll be interesting is if they own the rights of her likeness or whatever,
right? And very likely they do. I mean,
and can continue to put her on the packaging and continue to use her face. Like, man, that would just be so hard.
I mean, if they had to change the name from Miyoko's, I'm sure they wouldn't have done this move, right? Like, I'm sure that's not going to change. And I would guess the likeness. Who knows about the likeness? I don't know. But that will be interesting to see what happens. So there you go. Hard-hitting legal analysis from us, Doug, corporate board, you're experts in that. So glad we've broken it down for the lay people who don't quite understand the depths of these business.
What credentials do we not have? That's the question.
Right.
For some reason, I don't have as much of an issue as pretending to be a legal expert as I do a medical expert.
Right. Yeah. Because we're not offering personal legal advice here. We're just offering legal breakdown of a situation. But we could start offering financial and legal advice, maybe, which would be good, just on a personal basis. If people want to do like a call-in show on Friday, and then we could do some health in there as well, some medical advice.
Sure.
Yeah, like it. All right. Well, I think we will leave it there. Thanks for the comments, everyone. Will be interesting. Certainly, we will keep following this as it develops, and I'll play that music every time it does. So that'll be nice to keep up and see how that goes. Hopefully, our tech issues are resolved. I really, as everyone knows, I hate when these things happen. They make the show worse. I understand that, and less fun to do. So hopefully, we can fix that. I'm going to start by resetting my internet, Doug, and you should do the same. And maybe we can.
I'm going to do the same.
At least temporarily.
Hopefully, we're back tomorrow without any issues.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Okay. Anything else, Doug, today? Wish everyone a happy Monday, rest of the week. Enjoy your President's Day. If you celebrate. Yeah. Do I need to say that? So as not to offend people who don't celebrate President's Day?
I think anyone boycotts President's Day, but who knows?
I'm sure somebody does.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. And we'll be back tomorrow. Enjoy your Monday. Enjoy your holiday.
All right.
If you celebrate. All right.
Bye.
Goodbye.